Are we YouTubing? Mic check. Mic check. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Vernon Village Board meeting. Today is Thursday, March 16, 2023 at 7 p.m. I will call the Village Board meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance and a standing moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call and open meeting law compliance check.
President Fortner,
Present.
Trustee Slaney,
Present.
Trustee DeGrave,
Present.
Trustee Newman,
Present.
Trustee Dashik.
Present.
This meeting was noticed and posted according to law.
Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda, I need to read the closed session announcement. Consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin statutes 19.85(1)(e), deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session, more specifically RFQ proposals for the Center Drive Bridge design work. In closed session will be the Village of Vernon Board of Trustees, Village Administrator Clerk, and the Village Attorney may attend in person or attend via Zoom or via phone. Motion will require a roll call vote. No action will be taken in closed session. Number 5, public comments. We do have a special note. Well, there's 2 notes here. One is because ballots are outstanding here, I need to read this for the record. It is the longstanding past practice of Vernon that once ballots are available for absentee or early voting, no campaigning is to be done as part of public comments. The other notice that I would like to read is printed on the agenda. No public comments can be made regarding the case Scenic Ridge of Big Bend Homeowners Association, Inc. versus the Village of Vernon, defendant and Selco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless Diamond Communications, LLC, and New Singular Wireless, LLC, interveners, Wisconsin Court of Appeals, appeal number 2021, AP 1390, and Waukesha Circuit Court case number 2020 CV 1233, until the Village Board's decision becomes final as explained at the March 14, 2023 meeting and as set forth on the March 14, 2023 agenda. With that, Lieutenant Strandberg with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department is here. We'll move his report up next. Unless there's an objection, I'll just move it. And any report, I've talked to you earlier, and
I got no report, sir.
no report, other than lock your doors and lock your vehicles.
Yes, sir.
Especially overnight, but even during the day if you're going to be inside.
All time. Yep.
Okay, thank you for that. Any public comments? No public is here. Well, one member is here. No comments. So we will get into the agenda. Thank you. Letter A, it's the decision language drafted by the Vernon staff for the March 14, 2023 approval of the previous grant of the conditional use permit for the Diamond Communications LLC telecommunications facilities as presented by the Village of Vernon planner and as agreed to by the applicant on July 30, 2020. We did have a meeting 2 days ago, as everybody in this room is well aware of, where we held a meeting as a result of the order by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals and the Waukesha Circuit Court on the cell tower located down on Artesian Avenue. We directed the staff to write a decision consistent with our motion to approve, and the staff did. And other than some cleanup of typos on the ordinance sites, which was just passed out, I think it's ready to go. I think nothing is going to be changed on Exhibit B. The minutes are going to reflect our decision-making in that meeting with respect to the matrix. So according to Ramsey Pitkar and Sean and John Macy, we're ready to approve that decision. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the decision language as handed out at this meeting, drafted by the Vernon staff for the March 14, 2023 approval of the previous grant of the conditional use permit for the Diamond Communications LLC telecommunications facility as presented by the Village of Vernon planner and as agreed to by the applicant on July 30, 2020. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, now I know it was just handed out. If people, I mean, if you read it's just 2 paragraphs of inserts. You know, from the original decision, right. The rest of the decision is the same unless you see a marked insert. So our attorney updated the date on number 6, added paragraph 7, added paragraph 8, added paragraph 9, indicated in the next page, conclusions of the law, paragraph 1 and 2, the additional sections that we considered, 315C, 322A5, 322B, 11C, 3D, 3 little i's. And I think those were the only changes. Otherwise, it was the same order as from 2020. Trustee DeGrave.
The date in the very first page on the top says August 7th of 2020. Does that need to stay the same, or should that be changed to a current date since we're talking about March of 2023?
Well,
August 7th of 2020?
we can certainly ask that question, but I suspect that was the date the conditional use order was issued, and all the board did on Tuesday was just to approve as it was. So I'm thinking that date needs to say the same, but certainly we can. We'll update it if we could. Let me just think here. If we have a friendly amendment to trustees Dashik's and trustee DeGrave's second to, subject to legal review, and then if we need to change it with the lawyers, we'll change it. Otherwise there isn't going to be a real legal review. It's already been drafted. Yes, so we have a friendly amendment to your motion, trustee? Friendly second? Okay. Other questions? And I think those are the only things that Attorney Bitkar updated in the old July, 2020 conditional use order, which, as discussed at the meeting, that's all we were supposed to do, told to do, and did. Any further discussion? Are we ready to vote? Okay, no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll have to vote no, just because I voted no at the meeting. So, although I do think it's in good order, as we decided, as the board decided. Okay. That motion passes. We are on for grants of Center Drive Bridge. I think that's just a report by Clerk Administrator Calder.
Yes, this is just an update. We took that there was a additional opportunity for an additional grant for the Center Drive Bridge for 100% funding for it. And talking with the DOT, in order to apply for that grant, we would have to then give up our current grant at the 80-20 match. And as the DOT said, it probably would not look favorably for us to give up the current grant because it's a needs-based grant instead of just a non-needs-based. And so that would maybe not shine the best light on us to apply for it. And also giving up our current grant, we lose that. And then if we don't get the 100%, then we're back into the rotation of having to apply to get this current grant again. So my recommendation would be is to just move on with our current grant at the 80-20 match at this time, seeing that we do have the money in hand. I think the risk is not worth the reward at this point, for the village.
If we give up our current, let me ask you this, if we give up our current grant to apply for the 100% grant and get turned down, as I heard you, we'd have to go back to the beginning of or the end of the line and request another 80/20 grant. And if that causes a year, 2, 3 years delay just because of the funding and the grant process, the cost of fixing that bridge probably is gonna go up. So it's one of those tough decisions. The bridge isn't gonna fall down or fall in the water in 2 years or 4 years, but it's slowly deteriorating.
And like you said, the cost of the repairs.
Well, it's a replacement, it's a replacement, not repairs. It's gonna,
Replacement,
yeah, right.
most likely will go up, yeah.
Well, if we see anything close to what we've been seeing the last 4 years in road costs, that's, 4 years ago was even before the inflation, the costs were going way up. Now with the inflation the way it is, I would fully expect it to continue to go up. Not gonna go down, how's that? Thoughts or discussion? So if we do nothing, it just stands as is. I mean, I'm not looking for a motion
Yeah.
per se. Jim, you got anything? You're lost in.
No. Say we leave it.
Okay, we'll proceed as on the path we've chosen. Okay. Letter C is the village newsletter in our packet. Brad's provided some further information. I think you have also a report on some further oral report too.
So we talked at the last staff meeting about newsletter. I did reach out to 3 firms, the previous printer, Crossmark, that was in your packet. As you can see, I think their estimate was $2,800 for a 8-page newsletter and $1,200 or almost $3,800 for a 12-page. I also reached out to Accurate Graphics, they're in Dousman. They quoted us, and this is all for 3,200 mailings. Them for an 8-page newsletter, same paper, same type of color, and stapled. 8-page would be $2,119. A 12-page would be $2,882. I also reached out to Liturgical Publications, and they finally got back to me today, and they said they would be able to do it for free. Our only cost would be mailings. With that, we would be most likely obligated to do 4 a year. They do have a 12-page option and a 16-page option. The 12-page option requires about 2.5 pages worth of ads, and the 16-page option requires 3 pages of ads, which they do all the legwork to get the ads and all the calling to get them set up. And they are quarterly. I did kind of say a 12-page, I think, with newsletters, or my experience with newsletters are, you tend to have a lot of repetition in them over time because it continues to cover the same stuff, building permits, for spraying, snow plowing, brush, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of, I think, repetition at times. So necessarily trying to do a bigger newsletter can be difficult. I just don't want to say we're filling it with busy work or repetitive stuff, but we want to keep it fresh and just get the important stuff out there. Sometimes you're just trying to find filler and not necessarily needed. So that's where the 12-page came in. So Liturgical Publications will get us their stuff. They had to talk to the powers that be to see if they're willing to do it. I think see if it matches the demographics to get the advertisements that they need to pay for the printing. With that, we'd probably be looking at about $4,000 a year in postage, where if we pick any of the other options, Accurate, it'll at least be about $3,000 or $3,200 with postage and printing per a newsletter for an 8-page, which would be equivalent or would be less than what Liturgical Publications would do. And Crossmark is $1,000 more than that, or close to $1,000 more than that. So right now, I'd recommend we go with Liturgical Publications, but until we get a contract, I would say we can't really do anything. I didn't ask him what type of timeline it'd be till we get the first one out.
Did you say that liturgical publications would include like advertisements for businesses that are supporting it? Is there any problem with us being a governmental body doing that?
No, no, and I can share with you guys when they send it over. The village, or the town board in 2014 approved policies related to advertisement, things like that, and, so there's not any issue with us, doing that because we're not necessarily limiting who can advertise in the newsletter, at the end of the day, so it's not, prohibitive, and I know other communities use liturgical publications or have used liturgical publications in the past for newsletters.
We used it for years.
Yeah. So,
So if we go there, Rob, probably we should take a look at that ad policy and make sure that it's up to date. I kind of remembered that, but I haven't read it in a long time. You'll need to get us a timeline, I suppose. Did you get timelines or scheduling on Crossmark and Accurate?
Crossmark was about a month. It would take them from start to, from start to finish, or at least a couple, good 3 weeks to get it from start to finish, to layout and everything else, to get it in mailboxes. So
Is Accurate about this?
Accurate would probably be, maybe not the same, maybe a week or two at the most. The big thing is getting the final product to them, getting the layout, approving the layout, and then, getting in there. I mean, they do give you the layout, so it's just a matter of getting to them and then them looking over, make sure it works. So, it's there, usually the biggest thing with, these, if the board is gonna continue to do these, like with liturgical, then you'd pick dates to say, okay, our goal is to have something out in, February.
May, August, November,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, pick the schedule at what you wanna do and how you wanna do it. So it's either shoot for, the other options give you the freedom to probably do it semi-annually, which I think is what you guys did in 22 or 21. But even with that, liturgical publications is painting a picture that they can do it cheaper than what we could do, even send out two newsletters annually to our residents. And that would be doing smaller newsletters. So we can get more out there and things like that for the same price that we could do one or 1.5.
Discussion?
The only problem I have is when do we publish it? We were, ideally would have liked to have one in that April, May timeframe,
We might,
but I don't see that working.
I think we could probably potentially try to shoot to have one out in May, with, if we can get the, contract here before the next meeting, approve it. I can potentially talk to them timelines, and then it's just a matter of getting articles written, and then, probably the big thing for them is trying to find advertisers, by then, or at least find some. There might be some blanks in that first one, but, they can start doing advertisements and then, get it out there. So I think in May, we could definitely have something out.
Or the alternative, it seems to me, between Crossmark and Accurate Graphics is, even on an 8-pager, almost $800 cheaper. Postage is the same no matter which way you go.
So it can't be cheaper. Liturgical isn't charging us at all.
Right. Cheaper than Crossmark.
Oh,
Between
You
those-
said backwards.
With those two, okay.
or I heard it backwards, one of the two.
All right. I meant between those two. If we wanted to get it out,
Yeah,
if you wanted to get it out earlier, we'd have to choose earlier than LPI. We'd have to go with one or the other, and between those two.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I meant to say. So we're looking for what, board direction to what? proceed with LPI or?
Yeah.
Or pick between the other two, or?
I think we should just go with LPI. Or at least continue the negotiations with them, you
Would
know.
be a direction to have staff continue to, or get a proposal or a firmed up proposal, I guess, is
You know.
what we'd be looking to do. Next step.
Because we'd need to know when they would need all the articles. In addition to when they think it would be published, because there'll be 3-4 weeks after that. Typically.
Anything further?
Cost of liturgical is, makes it attractive.
Right, the only downside is 4 times and you got double the postage versus 2 times, but the cost of printing is
Nothing.
nothing.
It's basically the same expense. Well, you could set it up 4 times for the same prices. 2 times to save money, even with
It'd
that.
still be cheaper, right, because the postage is not going to exceed the printing costs on the
Right.
others. Don't you got anything? Dan?
Oh, that sounds. I think that sounds great. Excuse me. If you want to check out another printer, there's a printer right in town at the old Guthrie School. So if, you know, I know there's one right in town.
But there'd be a
But other-
printing cost.
Right. But otherwise, I think LPI.
So we're looking, Brady, you're looking for a motion to direct the staff to proceed to discuss with LPI,
Sure.
put together a proposal and timeline,
Yep.
bring it back to the board.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Is there
Second that motion.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. True Green contract. This was on our agenda in January. We wanted to, we directed Brad to see if we can get some additional proposals. I think he just, Brad, why don't you take it away? I think you got one. I don't know how many people
Yeah,
you
so we got
contacted.
one additional proposal, was there, I had Tyler reach out to several places. All we did get back was the one proposal, I reached out to 1 or 2 places, did not hear back from either. And this proposal we got, as you can see, they're looking at like $6,000 per an application, where True Green is about $5,000 for the year, so, you know, this time, staff would recommend that we continue to use True Green, and authorize the village president to sign the contract. I think, you know, come next fall, we can take another hard look at this again if the board would so choose at that time, to get estimates, but it was just really hard to get estimates from the people we reached out from.
Okay, now, I was talking to Brad ahead of the meeting here. The contract in our board packet was like a 2022 contract, and in our board packet tonight, the one in January was the 2023 contract. The price is the same. And I think at the part of it too, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any misunderstandings on exactly what they were gonna treat and not treat, and there's an email chain I know we've got with the map. I got it from our January meeting. So if we're gonna go with True Green, I suggest a motion to approve and authorize the village president to sign the, I'm gonna call it the 2023, or, you know, True Green contract attaching the map of the designated areas as the contract covers Village Hall and Park and the Heather Ridge Park.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussions on True Green and fertilizing and all that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Okay, okay, now we're on to mailbox damage reimbursement policy. This came out of the staff that we were gonna staff meeting that we're gonna look at it. I know our old policy was $50. There's discussion of increasing that amount, and we directed staff to come back with the policy, and so Brad did. We just got it tonight.
So you see, here's the policy. I went back and looked. I don't think there was ever a true written policy that that Vernon had on mailbox stuff, at least not that I could find. I know that the last time this was brought up was in like 2010, and that's when the town board did approve to, it looked like increase reimbursement to $50 at that time. And, yeah, 2010. Or maybe it was to keep it the same. But there was the mention of $50 at that time. So it's been 12 years since it's been looked at. As you can see, this policy was taken from another community in the area. There's been some additions to it. 4.3.1, as you can see there, village replacement, I think, as I've said here, and as we talked at the meeting, there's two options for replacement, either reimbursement as outlined in 4.4, or the village would install new post and mailbox per USPS standards. Post would be a 4x4 pressure treated or like material. The village would not install any decorative mailboxes or specialty mailboxes, and residents electing to receive reimbursement would not be eligible to have the village install and vice versa. So if the village installs their supplied village purchase mailbox and post, then the resident would not be eligible for $75, and the village should not install any materials provided by homeowners, would be my recommendation. And then there also on that page, 4.1, all mailbox replacement forms must be submitted within 48 hours after an event. This is what has been used by the other community. Staff would be willing to modify that amount if the board should see that needed. We could put 2 business days on there, something like that, in case it happens on a weekend. And then also in 4.4, this is where it says $75 upon submission of receipt for replacement materials. So we wouldn't just hand a person a check for $75. We would need receipts to prove that mailbox was being replaced, and then all recipients of replacement material should be submitted no later than May 1st or 45 days after damage occurs, whichever date comes last. So just to cover ourselves there. And then also 4.5, just saying the village could provide temporary mailbox or construct temporary mailbox. You know, sometimes when we hit them, we're able to go out there, at least get the old post to stay up for winter. And then that would remain up till May 1st. So that's the policy. And then on the final page, it would be the mailbox claim form that would be submitted. So looking for some feedback.
How many mailboxes were hit this snow season? Just still going, by the way, but maybe we're done. Who
I think
knows?
At least 5 or 6 maybe.
So not too many.
Yeah, we've had, I think, 4 reported, and they've been scattered. We had the one on Ridge. There's one on Maple that we hit at the beginning of the year. There might be a couple others that were hit. There were some mailboxes hit on Woodland that were in the village, but were not due to us. It was from the village of Big Bend because they plow Woodland Drive. So it was not us. And then I think there's been a scattering here and there. One of the mailboxes down here was hit this year too. So you know, the big thing is that this winter that we've had, and the way this policy reads is that we only pay for damage when the plow either strikes the mailbox or the post. We do not pay for damage to the mailbox that is caused by wet, heavy snow hitting the post or mailbox and damaging it. So, because it is a responsibility of the homeowner to make sure that the mailbox and posts are in satisfactory condition at all times. So, there is that. So, this year we did see, I think, more people. We didn't get a ton of calls, but if you look around, you can see where mailboxes were damaged because they were hit by that wet, heavy snow from the plow. But that's just been indicative of this winter, and it varies from time to time.
Brad, at the bottom of the form, you may want to change that with reference to the village of Richfield.
Yeah, we can change that part. This may have been already vetted by our village attorney, this policy, so.
Now we know where it came from. Since we apparently didn't have one in writing, or if we did.
Yeah, we did, you just can't find it. I may have a copy of the old one
Okay.
still,
Okay.
but when it came to policies, I could never find where they were being kept. There's a binder in there that has just policies in it, but it's not complete either.
So, yeah, I searched our, there was a mailbox form, and it was very, basically address and date and name and stuff like that. But I couldn't find anything in the, on the computer. There was a memo from early 2000s that was drafted by staff regarding mailbox damage. I didn't completely read it, but there was something that went back, but I'm sure there's something somewhere. I know that the guys gave me one that looks like it might have been taken from Big Bend at some point, or one of the clerks in Big Bend might have drafted something.
Like I said, there's a binder on the shelf that says policies, and I don't know why we can't get them on our website, just like we do ordinances, or, I've asked for that for years in the past.
Yeah, something like this we would put on our website, either on DPW or somewhere, so that the form is readily available for our residents.
Yeah, but any policies should be out there so that people will actually know what policies we might have.
Complete with the form. So you can
Right.
download the form and send it in.
So the only controversial item is the increase in the amount we pay, right?
Yeah, and
In essence.
$25 too, right?
And also that we would, the resident has the option for either us to go out there and replace it, or,
I think they always did. At least I think that's how we managed it, but
yeah, I talked to the guys and they said, there really wasn't a ton of stuff. I think they would say sometimes they'd pay, maybe sometimes they'd do it. I think sometimes, they might have just been able to take what was there and get it to go back.
Right.
Go
I used to just pound a metal post in next to it and wire it together until spring.
Yeah, so, those are the two biggest changes. I think the reporting time, the 48 hours, if you guys wanted to change that to 2 days or a longer period of time, that's fine. I think there can be, potentially some discretion, there may be if we, have a snow event during Christmas, somebody may be out of town, so, just working with the residents that way, it's a staff's discretion to say yes or no.
Yeah, I thought, well, first of all, I think that our drivers should self-report. If they know they hit somebody's mailbox, like, they should self-report. Period. Okay? The citizen still needs to file the form. I'm just saying the driver should self-report it. Second, the 48 hours, I suppose if you're here every day and people are gone, vacations, middle of the winter, holidays, whatever, that just seems a little quick to me.
Well, if it happened on a Sunday, or Saturday night, You don't go out to your mailbox Sunday because
Yeah.
there's no mail.
Or there's a foot of snow on the ground and you're not going out there.
Right.
Or like you said, you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that seems a little short. And I think it used to be $50 a set. I don't know that we made people turn in receipts. I think they just got a check for $50.
Right. That's the way I remember it too.
And so to tell the citizen, you know, okay, it's winter, he's not gonna put it in. He gets, you prop it up or you put it in a 5-gallon pail, for the winter, and then in May, you gotta send in your receipts. Well, you know, May 1st is another one. I don't know about that. I mean, sometimes April is pretty tough to dig a hole in the
Got some
ground.
heavy snows in April.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, so maybe you make that June 1st, but I don't know that I'd make citizens, because $75 when, at staff, when we were talking about it, I just went to Home Depot's website, Menard's website, you can't try to get something, you could piece something together maybe for 75, but you
You
can't.
say 75
You
isn't that much. I
can't-
paid
you
more than
can't.
75 for my mailbox.
Yeah, you can't hardly find one, let alone, and forget about having it installed for that. That's just material cost.
Right.
So to me, it was, why are we bothering our citizens? You know, send in your receipts and get it done by a certain day and, you know, get the form in, but,
I tend to agree with you. At least on the receipts.
Who cares if they bought a new box or
Right.
new post? My box has been hit maybe 4 times,
Or if
something like
it's
that.
Decorative or.
I'm just, you know, now I have one of those rural mailboxes built like a German tank. It don't get hurt, you know. The post breaks, you know, so you just throw a new post on. It ain't no big thing.
right. There is a safety thing, that post is supposed to break.
Right, well, that's why I say it takes the,
And if it doesn't, there might be some homeowner liability.
I think ours swings, if it gets hit, it's a post on top of a post and it just swings.
So you're telling me I can't stick an I-beam in the ground?
Correct.
Weld a
You
mailbox to it?
You cannot. There's a reason why road signs are on wooden posts. So what, should we direct you to make changes and get this thing in place, or what should we do here? I heard, I just rattled some change, I don't know how.
did Brad get them all?
I got the, June 1st, I guess
No receipts, right?
the no receipts. The only other one that you guys talked about was the 48 hours.
Yeah, should we make it like a week or two?
Yeah, the longer you wait, the more, you know, the trouble with waiting is, you know, then it's harder to prove who did what and how it got hit.
Most people.
However, if our guys are self-reporting,
We already know. Yeah.
Then we already know. Well, then,
then it's on a log or something, right?
right,
It's tough to hit a mailbox and not know you hit it, I would think.
well, our guys, I don't necessarily think
With that wing, you can clip it and
You
not,
can clip it and not
Yeah, and
know.
there's
Yeah.
enough other noise going on, and depending on
Yeah.
the condition of, you know, if you got that metal I-beam, you're gonna know, but. But, you know, you got that post that's been there for 20 years and they weed whacked around it, you know, and they got it down to, you know, just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So, and it just depends too, there's a lot of,
That's
I know there's one on Maple Avenue right now that was just on like a T-post, or not even a T-post, just a metal U-post basically is what it was, and you're not gonna probably notice that so much, but I think a wood one you might, and our guys usually do a pretty good job of reporting, or, you know, at least fessing up to it to say, hey, we got a call about this. And most of our stuff does get reported within 3 business days, I would say.
typically people go out to check their mail on a daily basis.
I mean, even sod damage and stuff like that's usually, I haven't had a call in like 2 days since last week with it being so.
But I like the idea of, it's staff discretion also, because if you get a call and somebody says, hey, we were on vacation for a week and a half, and I just got back,
Right.
My mailbox isn't there.
yeah. And none of my neighbors did anything about it, so.
Well, you're never really
So-
looking at other people's mailboxes
Right.
either, so it's not like.
So I think somewhere where we're allowing for staff discretion.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that.
So maybe 3 business days
Yeah,
and
3
with
business
staff, with
days.
staff discretion
Right, yeah.
for extensions at staff's discretion. And so, something about maybe under the purpose, or, we could, I say should self-report, but I'm not saying they all know that they actually clipped one.
You made a
But
good
if they
point with the
do,
wet
if
snow.
they do clip one, then they should self-report.
Right. You made a good point though with the wet snow.
Yeah,
That stuff can do some damage.
right, not so much in the subdivisions, but out on the road, out on,
Right, because you can.
out on a 40-mile-an-hour
Yeah.
road, well, then you're gonna get it, and subdivision, they're not supposed to be going 40 miles an hour, so.
if you're going 40 miles an hour snow plowing in those trucks.
You're in the ditch.
Hold on.
Right. So if we can work that in, the 3 business days with staff, village,
Self-report under.
self-report under maybe purpose or something. We encourage, or drivers are required to self-report, but they, not that they're unable, that they may not be aware that they've hit a mailbox, so that people don't think, well, I don't have to do anything, they'll self-report it. Well,
Right.
72 hours with the self-discretion, $75, no receipts. June 1st for their temporary box, their temporary post. And the village replacement, that's, I don't know what other villages do, but that's pretty, that would hopefully be an attractive alternative to reimbursement, especially for people unable, elderly, or they're just unable to install a mailbox themselves. This guys would go out there and drop a post. I'm sure they'd buy village discretion mailbox, so whatever they are now, $20 or $30.
Yep.
A 4x4 post and a bag of concrete, 5-gallon pail, and you stick it in.
Yeah, if you don't use concrete, just put, well, in a pail, yeah.
You
that's
could,
right.
in a pail,
June 1st, you said,
yeah, for temporary,
yeah.
or May
Brought-
15th.
Brought to mind, one winter, it got clipped, 4 or 5 years ago. It broke off real low to the ground, the post did. I was able to take and put my pick in there and just pry that stub up, put the mailbox back in it. It made it a little short. And the mail carrier would leave me a little love letter every once in a while about bringing that up to code. There's a specific height it's supposed to be. So we talk about installing it, it's got to be to the
We
right.
put it- Yeah, we put in there to the USPS standards.
Right, it's in their specs of the USPS.
Okay,
Yeah, that happened to me once, and I just took a 5-gallon pail, put the post in there, filled it with gravel.
Yeah.
Knocked the pail right on the curb, and that was fine for the winter,
right.
so. And if
Except for she had to get out
if you need
in order to reach down
you
to
need
the
to
mailbox.
make it a little higher, you put a cement block, and then you stick in the bucket, and
Right.
you put that on there. Anything to get it up to 44 inches,
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
42 to 48 or something like that.
yeah.
I said June 1st, could be May 15th. By May 15th, it should be.
Whatever you guys, and that's where the
I don't
40,
really care.
I mean, in the replacement's the 45 days, so if we did get snow in April, the June 1st date will really flirt with something, but
Well, we could take 4.411 out because they're not submitting any receipts anymore, right?
yes.
So we could just, so we don't care about the receipt coming in within 45 days.
Yeah.
I suppose the temporary,
Temporary can stay like that.
yeah, temporary can stay like that or until May 15th, let's just say. That'll be, I would think by then it'd be fine.
And we'll work with the homeowner. We'd work
Oh,
with-
sure, I mean, you're not gonna pull it out if yeah. Well, it's not like you don't have better things to do, you're not gonna go out of your way on May 16th and pull out 2 temporary boxes. Okay, so we'll get a motion to direct staff to make those changes and bring it back?
you guys want. Or
Do we need to bring it back?
Or just make the changes and.
Make the changes
implement
as
the policy.
discussed.
And then the only other question I would have is this going to be
Retroactive.
retroactive?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too. These people have gotten their $50 checks or not? I haven't seen
No,
any.
No, we haven't, so we gotta, they'll be in the next month's check run.
And they've all reported?
Yep. Yeah, there's 3 that I know of, for sure. I'll have to confirm with the guys.
Well, if you say for starting January 1 of 2023, replacement cost is, or replacement is 75.
Or we do it for the policy.
Yeah, yeah. But you put it right in the policy, say,
Starting January 1, 2023, any in December that are hanging there?
There's just
22.
one in December. Which,
staff,
Starting December 1, 2022. I don't wanna have a policy where
yeah.
I gave this guy $50, now we're changing it to 75, just.
You know they're gonna come back for the other 25.
I just.
I
don't-
would.
Don't screw around with people like that. Okay, starting December 1, 2022.
Brad, have any of them made the decision to have DPW put it in?
I haven't, there's probably one that will
Okay.
probably take us up on it, I'm thinking, but
So-
maybe not.
That's really not an option now, is it? We've never really done that, or have we?
I don't know if they have, maybe from time to time they did.
It's hard to know.
I mean, it costs us this, I mean, we're using the labor time, but I think it's not that big of a labor.
Oh, you got
factor
an
for us.
auger, you got an auger post and
And our guys are going out there to hotline it anyways, they were calling in a hotline anyways for it, so.
oh, digger's hotline, well, yeah, you got it. No matter who does it, it's supposed to do that.
I don't make the hole any deeper. I just pull the old one out.
Jim, you're
Done.
supposed to say, I know where the lines are on my property, I don't need to call every time.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
Okay, so-
Vernon property though, that you're talking about.
Right.
Right, it's in the right of way. So we'll motion to direct the staff to revise the mailbox replacement policy as discussed at tonight's meeting and implement it effective December 1, 2022. And that would be the motion if somebody.
Right.
would Make the motion.
Oh, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got the motion enough? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next up is the plow truck invoice. That is our issue with the people we bought, Lakeside, the people we bought the plow truck from. I was on the board at that time. I will say, on what we understood was a fixed price contract at the time. And they did have some cost increases that they want to pass along. We did talk about this in December, January, their first payment. We made a payment, as I understand it, Brad, $105,949. Partial payment under the terms of the agreement contract that we had with Lakeside. And so, on my count, if we have a fixed price contract of $206,857, and we made it a payment of $105,949, sorry, that leaves a balance of, if I did my math here, $100,908. And they want, how much? $4,800 more, I think it is, or $4,680 more?
Weren't they also talking about changing the year of the vehicle?
Yeah, the year was changed, because it was, well, what I think in the contract was a 22, but actually, what we received was a 23.
because they couldn't deliver, you know, a 22 under the contract because of supply chain or whatever reason. But we did receive a 23 model year and not a 22, is what you're saying. Discussion? I think, what are you looking for, Brad? A motion to,
I mean,
to play, I kind of made it was, well, motion to place on the April 6th, 2023 accounts payable in an amount of whatever,
yeah,
right?
whatever you guys wanna do, I mean, there was a copy of the contract in there. I think we talked about this, with the last time we talked about it. I think it's on page 2 or page 1, somewhere where it says this contract, is a flat fee.
Right. There's a little box that if it was checked, this is on the back of the front page, order out vehicle not price protected. If they check that price, it would not be price protected. The box is unchecked. See back a contract for details.
That was one of the reasons why we ordered it when we did, is to lock in that price in the first place.
So, you know, I guess the question becomes, we send them this check for this, we have possession of the vehicle.
Yeah, we do have possession of the vehicle. It is up to our specs.
I don't know if we received title yet from them.
It's on our insurance.
But we haven't, it hasn't increased our insurance because of it. Because we pay annually.
Right. Well, I meant to say, we are insuring it. We are the owners, seems to me.
Probably not gonna send the title until we clear the bill, the invoice.
We can park it inside.
I don't think they have a right to come and get it.
I'm all in favor of if we owe it, we pay it. End of story. Did the attorney say this?
We did talk to Attorney Macy briefly about it.
Yeah, we were a little hesitant to send him all the contracts, because then the legal fee.
But that's what we always do, is send,
But we could.
you know, contracts. That's where we got them.
I mean, we could send it to them, I mean, these are pretty much, the contracts that we have are pretty much cut and dry for, I mean, this, I think is the usual.
Right, this is on the, this is a motor vehicle purchase contract. Stock form is what the dealers use. It's a state of, comes right out of DMV or DOT, right? Form. Anybody who's bought a new car, or even a used car, would see something very similar to that contract. And it's not like you can take your pen and mark through things or anything like that. It is what it is, pre-printed.
But it says it's a fixed price.
That's why I can't get, that's the part I can't get over.
Right.
I understand their costs went up, and I understand we got a 2023 model as opposed to.
That's
a
their cost of
2022,
doing
but-
business, as far as I'm concerned.
But, you know, this contract was signed in June 24 of 2021. And it was approved, you know, a few days before that.
Now, we do a lot of business with these guys. I shouldn't say a lot of business, but virtually all our trucks, we, you know, go through them. Is it worth the additional, what, $4,000 or whatever, from a business relationship?
I would ask them that.
And there's also a clause in here that talks about a penalty of 5% if we would not take it.
Oh, if we don't take it, yeah.
So
Well,
we'll
we
take the
wouldn't,
vehicle.
hey, you won't get one until
5%.
2027. If you don't take it.
Well, I don't think we'll be buying a new truck anytime soon,
Not this year, next year, that's for sure.
or the next year. So we're gonna hold the bill. We haven't got, well, we've got possession of the truck. We should, I'm sure what that says in there, we have to pay within a certain number of days after possession, right?
They also said they'd get us the truck in 120
At-
days too,
Well, and that's why,
whatever it was.
that's why I'm not too excited about getting a 2023 model and putting it on their side of the ledger, because they could have delivered it 2022 if they delivered it on time. They couldn't, or wouldn't, or didn't, or couldn't, as the case may be. I'm not sure what. We're not in their business, so we're not gonna be asking those questions of why, because what difference does it make? You know, that's in the contract too. If they can't deliver on 22, they gotta deliver the next model year.
We budgeted
We budgeted this number,
based on that number.
right, in 21, carried it into 22, and carried it into 23. So Brad, you're thinking of a, well, it's whatever the price, but I scratched one out here, that, a motion to place on the April, we owe the money in April, don't we? I would think.
Yeah, I can tell them that, come in.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say a motion to place on the April 6th, which is our next regular board, April 6th, 2023, accounts payable, the balance due for the plow truck invoice in the amount of the, this is me now talking, in the amount of the contract price of $206,857 less the amount of $105,949 previously paid. I think it was check number 70521, Brad, or $100,908. That would be a motion to get it on the payable, and the amount, and the reason. Well, I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
I still think we should send it to, get Macy's cut on whether we really owe it or not, owe the additional one. Unless you guys verbally had that.
Well, we talked to them verbally, there was nothing that was,
Decided.
yeah, it wasn't
Because
like, oh, you're in the.
He said, "Well, send me the contract."
What I would expect them to say.
All right. Well, we can vote this motion down and make a motion to direct staff to send the contract
We don't have
to,
a second yet, do we?
Yeah, he seconded it.
yeah, it's,
But sending it to the attorney is just an add-on to the motion. Send it to the attorney, that's for legal review.
Whether you put it, motion, down, make a new motion, or
Yeah,
you can put a motion to put it on there.
well, yeah, I could, I suppose, amend my motion subject to
Legal review.
legal, or
Legal advice.
legal review of the motor vehicle purchase contract.
yeah. Because I think, if he says, hey, we owe the money regardless,
Well, sure, if he says that, yeah.
then we pay it. And if we don't owe it, then we shouldn't pay it.
Well, and if he does say we owe it and we have to pay it, then,
Then there's a budget issue, but,
well, then it might be a budget issue, but then it still can go on the payable at that number, and then
right,
it'll be brought up for a vote on April 6th.
right, that's,
Brad's looking, what should I put, what dollar amount should I put in that AP for April 6th?
Worst comes to worst, we just do, hold it separate from,
Rescind this one and do another one and get a manual check, too.
yeah.
All right, so I'll make a friendly amendment to my motion. We'll ask for a friendly second from trustee Newman. Subject to legal review of the motor vehicle purchase contract.
And anything else that we have, in case he wants to see anything else.
And other documents. How's that? Other purchase documents. What other documents could there be? I mean, there's a spec sheet in here and everything, but that's a purchase document.
right.
An invoice, that's a purchase document. Yeah, here's the spec sheet, proposal, it's all here. This is all from the January meeting.
Yeah,
You got a friendly second, trustee Newman?
Yeah.
Any further discussion, trustee DeGrave?
Why did we pay an amount different than what was listed in here to be paid? Basically the first installment of the chassis price? You said that we paid 105,000 something,
105, yep, 105,949.
okay, and this said 101,269. Why did we pay more?
Because we didn't want to jeopardize delivery of the truck.
And that's what they had invoiced us for or something? Is that right?
Yeah,
If I recall.
whatever the
Okay.
invoice was for.
Okay.
Right. It was a partial payment.
Because we said, because then we talked about that at the December 29th meeting.
And we wrote something on the check.
And we wrote on the check
Right.
that this is for regarding the contract number and for 22.
Yeah, that's what, I just wanted to refresh on that one. Yes, okay, thank you.
Any further
Nope.
discussion? All in favor of the motion as friendly amended?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are now on to racing into closed session so we can do our RFQs for the bridge. Correspondence, announcements, and report, village president. I don't really have much. You heard the sheriff remind everybody, sheriff's department, to lock your doors and vehicles. Voting ballots are out. Signed up for absentee ballots are in the mail and being received for the spring election. Still can sign up either here or through My Vote. And in-person absentee ballot, voting starts not next Tuesday?
Yep, next
Next-
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, and as a reminder, April 4th, in person at the polls, Big Bend Elementary. Otherwise, I don't have anything, so we'll go in reverse order. Trustee Tashik,
No report.
trustee Newman,
Nada.
trustee DeGrave,
No report.
trustee Solani.
Nothing new.
Okay, thank you. Fire EMS is in our packet, I think. Sheriff's report's in there too.
Excuse me, fire EMS?
EMS is not in the packet that I saw. No, not in the packet.
Did not have anything.
The sheriff's was.
Sheriff's was. Administrator clerk report. DPW too.
Yeah, we covered the election, DPW, our candidate has accepted the job, we're working at getting physical and drug tests taken care of, and then scheduled to start April 5th. That's all that I have.
Thank you. We are now on to finances, accounts payable, March 16. The one thing I saw in the pack is the check to Speedy Metals. It caught my eye because we don't usually do business with Speedy Metals. But they did charge us tax. It's like, well, we can recut that check without the tax, $2.15, which means somebody didn't produce a exemption certificate. Or they made a mistake. We did, and they made a mistake.
But that gets back to the issue of not having an approved vendor list.
Right. Thing is, that's another benefit of approved vendor list is those approved vendors are approved, and they all have our exemption certificate.
Right.
So they shouldn't be tacking on sales tax. I assume that we had to go there just because, we had to get
I don't even know where
steel.
that's at.
We had to pick up some steel, so that's where we bought it from. So if we recut that check, Brad, we'll knock off $2.15. Any other discussion or questions about these? LifeQuest refunds are on there, you saw those. A lot of salt came in.
Yep, we were at, we had 1,200,000 guaranteed, another 200 on reserve, we've taken roughly about 500 tons already. We have another 300 ordered for next week, and then we'll end up taking the full amount, and then by the end of the year, we'll probably have 700 or 800 tons on in inventory here by the end of April, should we not get any more snow.
Or ice. Particular. And the Tahoe, the new Tahoe with, secured with some grant money, came in, delivered to the fire station. That should be on our insurance now, or report.
Yep.
Put on our insurance. That's in here. And we do have the grant money in hand, or we have to get reimbursed now that we got a invoice?
I'll have to ask Alex how that worked.
Okay. That would be my only question, is getting the grant money in, has it arrived? And if so, if not, how to get it here? Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll be looking for a motion to approve batch 20230316 accounts payable and the revised amount of $142,349.46. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
What happens if that grant money's not available?
I think there was grant money, this purchase was authorized back in 21
Yeah,
or
but-
22?
To my memory, this was one of those where Alex said that he applied for this grant money, and I don't recall ever seeing anything that said, we got it, it's on the way, or, you know, that it was approved. And I just vaguely remember something about him saying that one, and I don't know, it might be a different grant too, that something changed on it. So I'm a little curious on how this really worked and what, you know, I'd like to know that before we vote on doing, on ordering stuff, you know, that the grant was applied for. I didn't see a grant application. I don't know that we ever have, to be honest with you. Not that that's necessarily wrong, but just thinking how some of these things don't always come through.
I can't imagine that you guys would have approved a purchase without having the grant, you know, the funds were coming in.
But I've never seen anything. Now, that may be somebody else did, and they saw it, and everything is okay, fine, which is possible. But I don't know that. And I'd like to see something when we talk about, we applied for a grant for this. So we vote on it based on the fact that we're getting that grant, and we budget accordingly. And I don't know if there's a risk that, you know, we are facing that we don't know about, that might amount to money might not come through.
I mean, my recommendation always be is that, like, something like this, we wouldn't authorize the purchase until we knew we had been guaranteed the funds, whether the funds were in hand or funds came in after we made.
Yeah, I don't care, as long as somebody knows.
I can check with Alex tomorrow and find out how that grant worked and which grant it was specifically. I know that this vehicle was on order for a long time.
Yeah. That's also one of the things that, it's been a long time that we've had that out there. But I know we planned on it and budgeted it that way. And now, is there a potential that it's not going to come through, or it didn't come through?
Yeah, that's why I asked, do we have the money?
Right.
I mean, if the grant money is already in the door, in the bank account,
Right.
then we have the answer to your question.
Right, we got no problem, except for, in the future, when we talk grants on any of these things, I'd like to see something
in writing that says we're getting it.
I'm looking at our budget worksheet from last year, for December of '22, under federal funded grants, and there's a note for 131,000 of grants, 113,000 for one-time flex grant, 4,200 rugged electronic reporting, 5,800 video. I can't read this word. Something laryngoscope blades, 10,000 for Viscan ultrasound, 20,000 for AEDS, 11,000 for target solution training, 4,000 for CPR training, and here it comes, 58,035 for paramedic first responder vehicle, 13,000 for second part of a half a grant from 2022, and 5,400 general, it says, but that's, I think that's the general one of 5,400 of FAP.
Yeah, that's what we budgeted for.
That's what we budgeted for on the revenue side,
Right,
and then all of the capital equipment that I read is on the expense side.
right.
And the flex grant, we should have been awarded.
Yeah, I thought it was awarded,
Yeah,
but
they were awarded. Last year, because you would have applied for it in June-ish, or it was right on that time, spring, and then, would have come in and it was like almost guaranteed funding. Or, I mean, it was like, once they handed out awards, then you pretty much guaranteed that from what I recall.
that's how I recall it too, so that was my question, well, did we receive the money?
Yeah.
It was supposed to come in, did we receive it?
I mean, I'm not questioning the bill. We owe it, we just gonna pay it. But going forward,
Going forward, we can, show proof or provide verification that, and validation that we will receive, that we're guaranteed to receive funds before the village board would authorize a purchase.
yeah, I mean, that's, that kind of information, that's what I'm looking for.
Right, some of these grants, you gotta turn in the receipt to get it, but they've given you authority that you can do that.
Right,
And that's what you're looking for there.
yeah.
So how much was that grant for? 130?
113, there's 113, in total it was 131, it was 113 flex,
Funds already.
yeah, 113 flex, 13 for a second half of a 2022 grant, and 5,400 the FAP.
I think we received that money in either, Chief Feldy asked me to go back and look, I know we received those funds already. They were received either late last year or January this year.
I just want to know, before we budget
You wanna,
something, you know,
you wanna make sure we have the funds will be available
right.
to cover the purchase.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really questioning is because you never know
We
for,
only saw half the transaction.
right,
You need to see the first half of the transaction.
exactly.
I get it. I
We-
understand.
We have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, we have a motion by me and seconded by trustee Newman. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-1. Motion passes. Manual checks?
All that I had was the, full check from last time, and I didn't provide you guys the backup yet, so if you wanna wait till next meeting's there, or if you guys wanna approve it, everything did match up to the invoice that was there.
How about our former DPW worker? Do we have a
That-
manual check for that?
Yeah, if you guys wanna approve that, $4,000.
I think we
My
talked
take
about
would have been, you guys already approved the purchase of it, so.
Oh, that's true. We have
necessarily,
approved the purchase, actually.
It should be a double approval if you want, if not,
I think it hasn't been approved then.
I mean, it hasn't been approved in AP, if you want that approval, but when you guys, my take is when you approve a special one-off check like that through a,
Purchase, yeah, special motion.
yeah, that is an authorization to pay that.
would be for me. I mean, if you want the rest.
Right. I would agree.
Okay, so we don't need one for that. You're gonna put both in, or I haven't seen the bill.
All right. If you want to just wait till next time, that's fine.
So then we'll do
I'll tell them that'll be there right away.
that. All right, so now we're on to minutes. Okay, so minutes. Okay, February
Second?
2nd is up. The only thing I saw with February 2nd was the misspelled word February. But With that change, I'll make a motion. If I can find the same things. There, just a second. Keep in order here. Yeah, it's in the title. The spell checker doesn't pick up all caps. So I'll make a motion to, with the one typo corrected, motion to approve the February 2nd, 2023 Village of Vernon Board Meeting minutes.
Second?
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The February 8th joint meeting is not available, so we'll skip that or table that. I don't know that we need to have a special motion. February 16th, they're in your packet. Same typo in the heading February. And the only question I had on theirs is the Johnson Block for Accounting Services, trustee Swanee, you made the motion. It doesn't say subject to legal review, but I kind of remember you making it subject to legal review. Is that right?
I, be honest with you, I don't remember. I'm usually anti
Yeah.
sending stuff to the attorney, but contracts are a little different.
Right. So let me just see.
Oh, I just went past it.
I think it might have been.
I think it might have been two. I bet I didn't have any sample motions that meeting. Because there was just two, and the one I had from the Plan Commission,
Right.
which was the CSM, and the other one, because remember this February 16th, we had a staff meeting in the afternoon. We need to do those minutes, but they're not available tonight. And also a closed session at 4 o'clock, and then
Yeah.
a regular meeting at 7 o'clock that day.
That's a fun day.
Should we just table those so you can check that, Brad, or, okay. Let's just table February 16th, and then March 2nd, you gotta do those yet. So we'll have to table those.
Okay.
Announcements, the next meeting dates, April 6th, 7 o'clock, Village Board, April 12th, Village Plan Commission, April 20th,
Which will be
Village
joint,
Board.
April
April,
12th will be a joint meeting.
okay. Joint with Board.
April 12th?
Yep.
Aye.
We'll have public hearing for Halverson House, and then we will have for conditional use amendment.
Is that a joint board village meeting
Yeah.
on April 12th?
Okay, we're on to agenda item 11. I'll make the motion to go into closed session as I read earlier and as printed on the agenda. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion requires a roll call vote.
President Fortner,
Yes.
trustee Swanee,
Yes.
trustee DeGrave,
Yes.
trustee Newman,
Yes.
trustee Dasher.
Yes.
Okay, we will take a short 5-minute recess. We'll reconvene at 8:25 in closed session.